Hello everyone, peace of Christ to all. In this video we will answer a question about Muhammad being the last prophet. In a previous video I answered James White. He said that Nabil Qurashi should not say that he is he was a devoted Muslim. He should say he was an Ahmadiyya, and he claimed that the Ahmadiyya is rejected because they don't accept Muhammad to be the last prophet, and they have a new prophet, which is showing us the ignorance of Mr. James White, because the Ahmadiyya, they don't believe in a new prophet, but they believe that Ahmad Mirza Ghulam, the one they follow, is the coming back Messiah. And even the Muslim Sunni, they believe that the Messiah will come back, and that will not make a new prophet, for he was exist previously and he will come back, so he will not be a new one, he is still an old one. But anyway, like when you learn from an ignorant person, James White, he learned his stories or his let us say what he know about Islam from who? From reading articles of Shabir Ali, or books translated by like translation is done by Muslims. It doesn't matter how much you try to read, as long you are reading from others, it's mean you are limited with what people say to you, and as long you cannot go to the roots, then you are stuck with the translation and he said and she said. And this is exactly the story of James White. James White, he tried to present himself as the Pink Panther of Christianity, like he is a detective Gusteau, who is going to investigate things, and he is the smart one. Someone asked me a question here about, this is what bothering me, the Jehovah's Witnesses, they say they are Christians, Mormon, they say they're Christian, but the fact they are not. And then he compared between what Nabil Qurashi he say and what Jehovah's Witnesses they claim. The fact there's nothing to compare. Why? Because the Ahmadiyya, they don't deny that Muhammad is a prophet. You see, they don't change the nature of Muhammad. They don't say that Muhammad is not the greatest. They don't say anything about that. They don't deny the Quran. They don't have a different Quran. They have additional book, which is supposedly was given to them by Ahmad Mirza, who is nothing but the Messiah, the promised Messiah. So obviously, listening to James White will make you ignorant, because you are learning from his ignorance. You do not know much about Islam yet, but he tried to imply that he is the one who can teach you and correct you, and even correct the one who left Ahmadiyya to teach him what Ahmadiyya is. I'm not going to teach Nabil Qurashi what Ahmadiyya is. He was an Ahmadiyya. So it's very stupid that you will get somebody, he tried to convince us that he know what is right, what's wrong about Islam, more than the one who just left Islam, and specifically for being Ahmadiyya. And I am sure James White do not know what Ahmadiyya mean. Now, this is not really our topic, but this is because of that topic we are talking about this. Some they might think that the Quran state that Muhammad is the last prophet. That's false. You see, many people who they are ignorant, including Muslims, the Muslim, they have a problem. There is this discontinued relationship between Muhammad and his Quran and his Hadith. As an example, the Hadith was collected more than 300 years after Muhammad, as Muslims claim. However, the Quran is no better, because there is no original Quran whatsoever, and nobody knows when the first Quran was exist. And the Quran today they have it is written no less than the 6th or the 7th century. They claim that the oldest Quran right now is exist in Istanbul, which is false. It's a copy, and it's far away from to be original, because even that one, by the way, they say it is written about 350 years after Muhammad, but the fact is no less than 6 to 7 centuries after Muhammad. So because there is a discontinue and nobody knows how to explain this, people they try to understand the Quran based on the words, and based on the words will make you more confused. Why? Because the Quran is not really an Arabic book. and the one trying to explain the Quran, trying to explain the Arabic of the Quran. And this is why we will find a lot of like misunderstood in this book. As an example, it says here, ما كان محمد أبا أحد من رجالكم ولكن رسول الله وخاتم النبيين. The word khatim, all Muslim translated as the seal of the Prophet. The seal of the Prophet. You can click any translation you want. Here we go. Any translation you want. He was the seal of the prophethood. Alright? You see it? Now, what they say based on this, they say Muhammad must be the last prophet because he is the seal of the prophet. That is very stupid statement from ignorant bunch of idiots who do not know what they are talking about and try to understand the Quran. The fact the word seal of the prophet have nothing to do with he being the last prophet. I don't know if you heard that Muhammad, he have a seal in his back. He have a seal. Physical seal. And it's written in many stories in the hadith. Let me see if I can find you. Here we go. I asked Abu Sa'd al-Khudari, etc., etc. And by the way, look how funny the Muslim translation. Like, is that supposedly a translation? Seriously. Like, look how many words in Arabic. All of this is in Arabic. And now back. I asked Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, okay, أنه about the seal of the Prophet. Like, what is the translation? What does that mean? And then, oh Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Okay, what? He said it was a piece of raised flesh that was on the back of Muhammad. So Muhammad, he have a physical seal in his back. Just to make it simple for you, in case you do not understand yet what is that. That is a seal. The seal is simply a stamp. And the stamp present authority. Does not present that he will not, like, you know, when you put your stamp on a letter, doesn't mean you will not write more letters. If you sign a contract and you put your stamp or your signature, like today we are using signature, but in old days they used to put a stamp. Everybody make a ring, and when it's time to sign, he put his ring, stamp it, and that's it. And this is nothing more than a ring. So the stamp present the authority, not he is the last one. So huwa khatimun nabiyyin. So he is the authority of the prophets, which means he is the authority. By his stamp he confirm all the prophets. He will confirm for you who is the true prophet, who is the false prophet, who is the one to follow, who is not the one to follow. He is the authority, which means he is authorized by Allah to tell you who is a prophet, who is not. Not only this, he is the authority to obey. This is why if we go to the Quran, we will find the Quran say clearly in many chapters, chapter 4 verse number 13, chapter 4 number 69, chapter 4 80. You know, it's funny that it's the same thing. Like the whole chapter is the same, repeating the same thing. You see, the same. That's why I say the Quran is nothing but a repeat. You see, like if we search right now for the same sentence, look how many times is repeated. Actually, even this one here, the second one verse here is the same. The same sentence. What does the sentence mean? And the one who obeyed the prophet, he entered the heaven. The one who obeyed the prophet, not like the one who obeyed the prophet, he obey Allah. The one who obey Allah but he don't obey the prophet, he don't obey Allah. You have to obey the Prophet. Like, here we go, chapter. Let us read this one with the Muslim translation. Oh, just hold on. Let us go to Yusuf Ali. And he who obey the Prophet, and he who obey the messenger obey Allah, but if any return away, like, he will go, he is an evil person. Now this is verse number 80, but let me show you, let me go to Arabic. The one who obey the Prophet, he obey Allah. How by obeying Muhammad? He's talking about specific person now. How by obeying Muhammad you are obeying Allah? What if Muhammad says something wrong? The Muslim, they will say to you, Muhammad, he do not say things, it's wrong, this is false. This is absolutely false. Why? If we go right now to the Quran, we will see the Quran saying in the chapter of At-Tahrim, verse number 1, Allah said to Muhammad, why you are forbidding what is not forbidden by Allah? So if Muhammad, he will never say mistakes and he will never make false law, how come Muhammad, he forbid what is not should be forbidden? And what is forbidden here, he forbid himself from having sex with a slave. When his wife strike and throw rocks at his house and they make a big problem, he promised them, he swear by Allah, I will never have sex with her again. But then Muhammad, he got horny, and how he can cancel his promise? He forbid himself, which means he fabricated Allah. Because remember, the Muslim, they have to obey what the Prophet do. If the Prophet, he forbid himself from having sex with the slaves, well, the Muslims, they have to forbid themselves from having sex with the slaves. Whatever Muhammad do, you do. Muhammad forbid, you forbid. So in chapter, in this chapter, when Muhammad forbid himself from having sex with a slave women, he used to have sex with her in the beds of his wives, and the wives, they get so angry from him, and then he was afraid from they might kill him. But then he got horny, so he come with this verse to cancel what he promised. So look what he came with. Look how evil he is. Allah said to him, supposedly Allah is talking, the fact this is Muhammad himself making a verse so his wives cannot complain no more about him having sex. O Prophet of Allah, like, why you are forbidding which is made lawful for you? However, we are mentioning this to show you that when Muslim, they say the Prophet, he will never say something wrong or do something wrong. This is a clear proof from the Quran that Muhammad, he forbid things should not be forbidden. And remember, whatever Muhammad forbid, it is written as a law. That's it. To the point, even if Muhammad says something and the Quran says something else, the words of Muhammad take over. But in this case, the word of the Quran take over, because Muhammad, he got horny, he want to go back to those slaves to have sex with them. So he come with this verse, and this is the way to shut up the wives who he took oath. He took an oath. He will not have sex with those slaves anymore. But he got horny, he could not resist. So the word Khatimun Nabiyyin, many of the Muslim ignorant, because they are, seriously, they are dumb. They don't even understand the religion. The same when the Muslim, they say to you that the Prophet is illiterate. Like, where they get this from, I have no idea. They will say to you, well, it says in the Quran that he is Ummi. Just to show you an example of the stupidity and the ignorance of the Muslims, when they say the Prophet was Ummi, which means he is illiterate. The Quran never speak about Muhammad as a literate man who do not know how to write, how to read. The illiteracy in the Quran is those who do not know the book of God. وَمِنْهُمْ أُمِّيُّونَ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ الْكِتَابَ إِلَّا أَمَانِي. And from them, literate who do not know the book. He's talking about the book of God. Has nothing to do with illiteracy about reading the book or not. All right, read verse number 79. Then those, okay, 78, sorry. And they are among them illiterate who know not the book. So what, who is the illiterate? What book is talking about? Book of God, certain book, not any book. So the illiterates are those who do not know the book of God. But the Abdul, they think that the word illiteracy mean that Muhammad do not know how to write, how to read. But for sure, this is have nothing to do with the like in here, chapter 3, verse number 20 in front of you. You can go to any translation you want, as usual. But they dispute with you, say, I have submitted myself, not submitted, surrender myself entirely to Allah, whoever, etc. Follow me. Okay, now look at this. And to those who have been given the book and the unlearned people. So who is the word is divided to two: unlearned people and those who've been given the book. So the one is giving the book is the one who they are learned, not the one who knows how to write, how to read. Are you getting my point? But the Abduls today, they think in this verse it says that those who they are unlearned is those who do not know how to write, how to read, because they do not understand the word ummi. The word ummi is coming from the Aramaic. Most of the Quran is coming from the Aramaic. The ummi, the ummiyin in the Aramaic is those who they are the Gentiles, those who they don't belong to the community of the believers. So the same as the Jews they have the believers and they have the unbelievers, and each one of them have a name. So the word ummi is coming really from the Aramaic, which is claiming that those who do not know God, they are ummi, which coming from the word nations, from the nations, not from us. The word is mother. It's mean mothers, which mean many nations. Like we are coming from one ummah, one which mean one mother. So all of us, we are one nation. Is many mothers or many nations. So those who they are ummiyin is those who they are not from us, which mean they are not from the people who learned about God, for they do not know the book. And the Quran, as you see, confirming that. But yet the Abdul today, they insist that Muhammad is illiterate. This is why you see the Quran call the Christians people of the book. Like, does that mean every Christian in the world knows how to write, how to read? This is a stupid thing to say. As an example here in chapter 62, verse number 2, you will see it says that it is He, which means Allah, is the one who sent a messenger to the unlearned one, illiterate one. If this is true, if the word illiterate mean those who do not know how to write, how to read, that's mean Muhammad, he can be only a messenger for those who do not know how to write, how to read. You know what I mean? It says that he is sent as a messenger from the illiterate to the illiterate. That means Muhammad is from the illiterate and he is sent to the illiterate, so he cannot be a prophet for me. Anyone who knows how to write, how to read. So obviously the unlearned here or the illiterate here mean that those who do not have a knowledge of the book of God. This is why the Quran divide the people to people of the book and the people who they are illiterate. Illiterate about what? Illiteracy about God. But the foolish Abdul, they think that the word illiterate mean that he is a prophet who do not know how to write, how to read. There's many hadith, tons of stories stating clearly that Muhammad knows how to write and how to read. Is it clear? So this is not the first time even Muslims, they have wrong understanding of their book. They always have no understanding of their book. I can show you tons of verses proving my point. So Like here, those who follow الرسول النبي الأمي. The Muslim, they translate it as those who follow the illiterate prophet. This is stupid to say. Al-Ummi, which means he was from the Gentile. He is not a believer. Muhammad never been a believer. This is why Allah, he said to him, like, we taught you, we found you lost, and we guide you. And you do not know what Iman, what belief, what faith is, and what scriptures is. So I think the idea here is clear. Now we continue with Muhammad being the seal of the prophet. All right, he is the seal of the prophet. When the Muslim, they say Muhammad is a seal of prophet, they claim that he is the last prophet as they understand, but because, as I said, they are ignorant. So what does this mean? This is mean Muhammad is the authority of the prophet. And let us explain more about this issue. You see, all those hadith here showing you that Muhammad, he have a seal, physical seal in his back, which means he hold the authority. He is not, like, it is not him the last prophet. He himself is the seal, which means Allah, he stamped all the messages of the messengers by Muhammad. He is the seal. It is not he is the last prophet. And as you see, there is tons of hadith confirming that this is true. The prophet of Islam, he have a physical seal in his shoulder. And they are describing it simply, it's a mole. It's very stupid. It's false for sure. So if you have a mole in your back, you must be a seal of prophet. Now, Muhammad was actually created before mankind created. And this is mean if Muhammad is the last prophet, this is mean all the prophet came after him, they are false, including Adam, because Adam himself was a prophet. You see, when I say Muslim, they have false translation for the hadith, you better believe me. This is why people like whoever speak English only, with my respect to everybody, it's not your fault that you cannot speak Arabic, but I'm saying when you depend in your, like now, if I give you this hadith in front of you, what do you read? Look what it says. They said, O Messenger of Allah, when was the prophethood established for you? He said, while Adam was between being soul and body. But this does not really make too much sense. Like, what does that mean between being soul and body? It's mean Muhammad was not created. Sorry, Adam, sorry. Adam was not created. I was a prophet. They are asking him, when you became a prophet. When you became a prophet. He said, I am a prophet before Adam was created. So if Muhammad is the last prophet, then Adam is a false prophet, Moses is a false prophet, Isa is a false prophet. All prophets who came after him, they are false prophets, for he is the last one. But it's going to be funny that he is the last prophet, in the same time he is the first prophet. Like, I used to joke with people. I says I am number one in my class, which have only one student. So according to this, and the claim of the Muslim that Muhammad is the last prophet, as they understand that verse in the Quran, that means Muhammad, there's no other prophet in this earth except him, for he is the first and he is the last, and that is impossible. Now here Muhammad is showing you how much he is mad, he's a mad person, because he thinks he is the first before any man was created. Actually, just to confirm what I'm saying, I'm going to make you listen to this video, please. in this video here,
and I say I don't because that's not what I was taught. The Prophet ﷺ said, Kuntu nabiyyan wa Adam bayn al-ma'i wa teen. I was a prophet and Adam was still uncreated. And that's a sound narration. So the Prophet was created before any of the other prophets.
You see it? This is Sheikh Hamza. The Prophet was created before any other prophet. So how we will say he is the last prophet? That's mean all the prophets came after him or not exist. And they are a lie. So Muhammad is the seal of the prophet. It meant, and I hope Muslims who claim to be scholars, they are learning. It meant to say that Muhammad is the authority of God, confirming all the prophets were sent by God. Anyone Muhammad don't confirm, he is not a prophet. Anyone Muhammad he accept, he is a prophet. Anyone Muhammad he deny, he is not a prophet. Any law Muhammad he approve, it is approved. Any law Muhammad he deny, it deny. Even he can abrogate the law of Allah. He is the authority. It's very hard sometimes to explain to people who do not understand know Arabic. And not only this, even those who know Arabic, you have to be a very deep thinker, so you can go beyond just the limitation of the sentence. You have to connect the dots. You have to have a lot of knowledge in your brain library, and then you connect them together, and you will see that this does not make sense unless it means something else. And when Muhammad he says, I was created before all mankind, even by the way, the throne of Allah, all the chair of Allah have the name of Muhammad in it. You believe it or not? There is a hadith says, Lawlaka, if not Muhammad, nothing created. And those are Sunnah, by the way. Those are not Shia. Like some they will say to you, Shia says that. Not true. You can watch the whole video here and you will see that Ibn Taymiyyah said that this is true, that everything was created for the Prophet. You can just go to the beginning of the video and you will see it. Everything is created for the Prophet.
Say that the Prophet ﷺ is not central to the Islamic teaching is wrong. To say that he was a messenger and he gave his message and that's the end of it, that is not true. Ibn Taymiyyah was once asked, can you say, had it not been for the Prophet, the world would not have been created? He was asked that. It's in his book on Tasawwuf, his fatwas. Ibn Taymiyyah said, that statement has truth in it. And he said the reason is that everything that is less virtuous serves the more virtuous. And so the example he gives.
All right. So everything in this earth is created for the sake of Muhammad. So he was exist before everything else because it was created for him. Like when I say everything in here in this room is to serve me, created for me, that's mean I was exist before they are exist. Otherwise you don't say it created for me. Especially if you are coming after thousands and thousands of years. He did not say it is for Adam. He didn't say it was for Isa. He didn't say it was for the Muslims. He didn't say for mankind. He says for me. For sure, that's explain the madness of Muhammad. He have a mental issue. So you are listening to a man, he worship himself, he think he is God, even though he claimed to be prophet. This is why Muhammad, he changed his name from Qatham to the praised one, because Muhammad mean Qatham. Actually, if you see in the hadith here, in the hadith doesn't, there's different hadith. I'll try to find it, where it's speaking about him as Ahmad, like Ahmad, you know why? Well, Allah created everything for you. He says yes. And actually, even the Muslims, they say that everything is created from the light of the Prophet. Why? Because the Muslims, they cannot understand their Quran. Look here. The Quran in chapter 33 verse number 46, Allah described Muhammad that he is Sirajan Muniran. Sirajan Muniran, what does that mean? A lamp, a lighting lamp. So many of the Muslims, they say, well, the Prophet must be made from light. The Prophet must be made from light. He is not a human. And for sure, this is like the major belief of the Shia. They believe that Muhammad and his family, they are not made from flesh like us. They are made from light. And actually, even the Shia and the Sunni, they agree that Muhammad, he is like from his, like there is 124 drop of water came from the forehead of the Prophet. He was sweating. And all those drops, each one of them became a prophet of Allah. So even the prophet of God, they are created from the sweat of Muhammad. I'm glad not from the pee of Muhammad. This is why you see this guy who supposedly, you know, the Muslim, the funny about Muslim, they say to you, we worship Allah only. But the fact, if you listen to this, you will see that those people, they worship Muhammad. He is the center of everything.
The Prophet ﷺ said, Kuntu nabiyyan wa Adam bayn al-ma'i wa teen. I was a prophet and Adam was still uncreated. And that's a sound narration. So the Prophet was created before any of the other prophets. He has a relationship to Isa, which is very interesting. Isa is described as being like Adam. And the Prophet is a prophet after Adam, and yet he was created before Adam. And Isa is like Adam. And Isa was a prophet before the Prophet ﷺ, and the Prophet is the last prophet, and yet Isa comes after the Prophet. So it's a very interesting relationship that Isa, because it says in the Quran, the like.
See what I'm talking about? So don't be naive and don't go by what Muslim says to you. You want to learn about Islam? Trust me. Here you have the best school, and I can prove it in every time I speak. We don't claim knowledge, we have it. Thank you for watching. Share the video, and don't forget to support us in what we do. We have a link for donation under the video for those who like to help us. And feel free to read my books, The Deception of Allah and Quran and Science in Depth, and even the French one, which is The Secret of the Prophet of Islam. I hope you guys are learning and you are earning knowledge which is priceless. You know, I did not really learn because Muslim they taught me. I learned because I worked hard for it. Everything I'm saying to you, Muslim will never say to you. In Islamic schools, they don't teach you what I'm saying. Islamic schools have one job, is to praise Muhammad. They don't teach you about Islam. Many people, they think if they join Islamic school, you will learn about Islam. This is a stupid belief. Questions are haram in Islam. And if you cannot question, how you can learn? If you cannot ask questions, how you can educate yourself? Actually, even in the Quran, it says, ask not questions. Chapter 5, verse number 51, 101. So, you know, ask not questions. Why? Because if you ask those questions, you might go into disbelief. Let us see. The number is 101. Yet the verse saying you cannot ask questions. All right. Oh, who you believe, ask not questions about things. It might be like look bad for you. So if I don't ask about things look bad for me, I will ask about what? Look, things is not about things is not confusing. Why? The Quran explained. Because if you ask questions about those things or such a questions, you will become a disbeliever. So what we can ask then? Islam encourages you to ask questions, but it's silly questions like how, brother, why we should not grow our beard with the color of black if it's became a gray? Why we can color it with the dye it with the henna, but we cannot use a black color? Should I say the prayer before I have sex with my wife? Go and read all the stupid questions. Is it true that if I eat ice cream, I will become a brother for my wife? Is it true that if the nipple of my wife touch my mouth and she have milk, she became forbidden for me? Those are the questions are welcome. But serious questions about the religion, it's forbidden. Because the second you ask those questions, it means you are questioning the authority of Muhammad, and that will lead to your death. Follow with me with more videos. Christ is Lord, Islam is false. Amen.